So, last week, when I found that FYE store going out of business I mentioned in my Return of the Kestrel video, I did pick up a few movies just because they were at a great discounted price. I actually wanted the DVD set of Pokemon The Johto Journeys. Johto arc is my favorite arc. My favorite games in the Pokemon video game series were Gold, Silver, Crystal. But they hadn't lowered the price on that one, and after taking tax into account, the price was going to be near $50, so I had to pass that up for the time being. Just can't throw away money like that on just a set of episodes right now. Lake Placid was released in theaters in 1999, and some of the advertising called it this year's Anaconda. The original 1997 movie Anaconda was about a team of researchers who were at first boating down the Amazon River to look for a secluded lost tribe, having several encounters with a 40-foot long giant anaconda. Anacondas do not grow to that size. The giant anacondas are a rumored cryptid that many have searched for but none have found. Now this Anaconda film, though fantastical for the most part, took its own story seriously. There were a couple of ridiculous things, the mega anacondas regurgitating their prey just so they can have the pleasure of hunting again. No predator, and certainly no cold-blooded predator that has to spend a long time digesting its meals, can afford to do that. The only time a snake will regurgitate what it's digesting is if it needs to escape from danger quickly. When that happens, it's really its only chance. It's a lightning load thing. And it's still a very costly thing to do, but maybe the snake at least will live to hunt another day. Anacondas also don't move anywhere near as quickly on land as we see them do in that movie's climax. The bigger the snake, the slower it moves, and generally speaking, with the exception of very split-second bursts of speed to bite onto and entangle their prey, but that's it. Although the ambush from the water, that quick strike, does have some things in common with crocodiles, but crocodiles don't tangle their coils around their prey. They don't have coils. They will do that death roll, but that's different. So this movie, Lake Placid, has some similar ridiculousnesses with crocodile behavior that Anaconda does with snake behavior. Interestingly enough, it's not really the predator's behavior that's made more ludicrous, it's the human characters. So, just very generally, the plot of the movie is there's this monster in a lake in Maine, which is the northeasternmost state in the United States. It's a New England state, heavily forested. A lot of very interesting rock outcrops, and it's a state famous for its fish and lobsters. It's a popular both vacation and retirement destination state. Now, there's this recurring thing in the movie about Maine having lots of mosquitoes, which I will tell you is absolutely true. You don't want to be outdoors at night in Maine just because there are a lot of mosquitoes. Maine has the second greatest population density of mosquitoes, probably in the entire continental United States, if not the entire North American continent, only behind summer camps all over the place. It's like they routinely, specifically set up camp in the middle of mosquito breeding grounds. Though mosquitoes in Maine generally aren't much of a problem during the day, you'll get one or two here and there, but for the love of keeping your blood inside your body, don't stay out long at night. And the bug mosquito spray stuff is not as effective as you hope it is. It's something, it's not total by any means. Although, isn't it curious that the people in this movie don't ever really have that much trouble with mosquitoes. They all talk about it. They never come out of their tents in the next morning with bites all over. The Lake Placid monster sure gets a number of bites out of them, though. The movie begins, like many monster movies, with a death that is suspected to be an accident, and people are sent to investigate. One is a stick-in-the-mud cop. Another is this woman paleontologist who, let's just say, if she acted in real life like she does in the movie, it would irritate any real paleontologist or archaeologist off to no end. I know because I'm part of a paleontology lab. I've been helping to build an updated fossil collection database for about a year and a half now, though I do need to find some other sources of work as well. And I'm working on that. But this person is just obnoxious. She pretends to be all that, and she is completely pathetic. Barring maybe she could be used for bait. Not a bad idea. She's upset in the beginning of the movie because she got dumped. I'm surprised she ever got picked up to begin with. She is sent to examine a tooth pulled from a half-eaten corpse, which kind of reminds me of an escape room challenge that my siblings and cousins and I did a couple of weeks ago on vacation. Except we had to pull out a key, not a tooth, from someone's intestines. Fake, not real, though the builder of that escape room sure put his effort into making it feel real. It was fun, though it did make me sort of wish I had brought my Digor sword with me. At least I'd have had something to put up a fight with, should we have failed. Upon examining the tooth pulled from the half-eaten guy's bloody corpse, she says, "This is reptilian, and this is not a fossil." You really pulled this out of the sky? Yeah. So, a lot of the first parts of the movie are this team of people sent to investigate, coming together, and they deny the possibility that it's a crocodile. Well, okay, let's go through the possibilities, shall we? So, it's reptilian. That rules out amphibians, obviously, and very, very few amphibians large enough to bite human-sized prey in half ever existed. And those that did, anywhere approach that size, are from longer ago than most dinosaurs. So this fourth main guy comes choppering in, a mythology professor, interestingly, named Hector Sear, and his helicopter is painted like a crocodile. He brings all this equipment, and he means to... He's coming because he travels the world to sleep with... swim with... well, he does think they're godly. Maybe they're his version of Aphrodite or Venus. And he's pretty horny as well. Interesting character. Pretty obnoxious, just like the others. So what are the possible reptiles then? Well, in the prehistoric times, a lot of different types of reptiles lived, not just the four main groups we're familiar with today, which are lizards, snakes, turtles and tortoises, and crocodilians. There is the New Zealand tuatara, which is not related to any lineage of lizards alive today. That's why it's grouped separately, but it's tiny compared to the size creature that you need to hunt humans. So let's start with the four groups alive that still have members today. Well, this lake monster, not a turtle. You would not be pulling a tooth out if it was a turtle, and most turtles are either herbivores, piscivores, meaning fish eaters, or insect eaters, or some combination of those. A lot of them are actually omnivores. A giant, actively predatory turtle would be quite something, and as far as I know, none have ever existed in the fossil record. Snakes are predators, but if you look at that tooth that the paleontologist examines early in the movie, It's wider than the tooth of any snake. Even giant snakes like anacondas, pythons, or the prehistoric Gigantophis and Titanoboa had long, very thin, curved fangs for hooking into the prey so it can't escape from their grip. And a snake of the size it would take to eat a human would not be biting a human in half anyway. That is not how constrictors kill or eat. So snakes are ruled out with almost complete certainty. Lizards. There aren't a whole lot of aquatic lizards. There are some, but there are even fewer lizards large enough to be man-eaters. The Komodo dragon is one, but it is not an aquatic lizard. You know what could have been very interesting is the giant monitor lizard of ancient Australia that grew to 20 feet long. It was like a giant Komodo dragon, Megalania, although Megalania was not aquatic either. So already, with just a little bit of familiarity with reptiles and their history, by mere process of elimination, a crocodilian is pretty much your best or only answer, by far. Even if you were to consider dinosaurs, it is true that dinosaurs could swim, but very few of them would have hunted underwater. There was Spinosaurus, of course, but what is the chance that a living Spinosaurus would have stayed a secret? Maine is not that remote. It's actually not really remote at all. It's just largely been left to remain a vacation and retirement village state, apart from the several cities it does have. It is not the same as remote northern Canada, where there are some regions still where humans haven't explored much in many centuries. Decades, maybe centuries, some remote locations. The Mesozoic marine reptiles were not dinosaurs. They were not closely related to dinosaurs. The pterosaurs, the flying reptiles, did share a common ancestor with dinosaurs near the origin of both lineages, as do crocodilians actually. Now, from here I could go on hours of tangents about archosaurs and their evolution, so for the sake of keeping this video less than an entire day long, I'll spare you. For now. Anyway, this team of people are actually really dumb when it comes to trying to find and take out the crocodile, which is of monster size by today's average croc size, but not in the fossil record unheard of. It would still be dwarfed by the super crocs like Sarcosuchus and Deinosuchus, but that's sort of beside the point. The people, they do things like camp near the lake's edge. Crocodilians do come out on land from time to time and can still be dangerous. They can still attack on land. And both the paleontologist and the crocodile mythology professor, researcher, should well be aware of that. And they continuously go out onto the lake on these tiny canoes, which against any large-sized croc, not even a giant croc, any large-sized croc is strong enough to tip a boat of the size they're using, and it's just rampant stupidity, which there is a lot of from the human characters in this film. So even though I had fond memories of watching this film when I was younger, it is a lot sillier than I remembered it being, or thought I remembered it being. It's still okay. It's far from the worst ever. I would recommend